And at one point, we were having activity here every single weekend on Sundays. And Jan Rodrigo was an eyewitness. I was actually calling the ship telepathically, and they were flying over, and then they were shooting up into the outer atmosphere from here, straight up, and they'd hit space in about 3 seconds. So they just go up and then they go boom, straight up into space.
What type of ships? TR-3s?
No, these were bigger. These were a lot bigger.
Human.
It's there's a transhuman army of around 200,000 soldiers up there.
And exactly where is up there? Is it suborbital, orbital?
Suborbital. You know, they're dots on the platforms up there. Yeah, and there's about 200,000 transhuman soldiers now.
Is that a giant, would say, giant between various countries?
Yeah, but they're not, they're kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Aligned.
Off planet. They're more than aligned to one country.
They're aligned to the planet. Okay.
Yeah, but they got bases on Saturn and all sorts. So they're not American, they're not Russian, they're bigger than that. Yeah. Yeah, and they're actually my sons. As bizarre as that sounds. Actually, they're created from my flesh up there.
What would you call it? A
Fleet
of guys up there.
Yeah.
They're not aligned to any particular country on Earth. They are basically an force for Earth aligned with Earth against ET.
Against, yeah, I mean they're all rattling at the cages now because of what's happened, and they're just, you know, they're calling for blood. They wanted to rain down nuclear fire on America.
Right.
And I keep having to get them to stand down, but I can't do it indefinitely.
Right. Because you're hoping it can get sorted out without coming to that, basically.
But I don't think it can.
So these treaties that have been happening, do you think that they're all defunct now? They're not being adhered to?
Yeah, there was, like when I did the interview with Miles in San Francisco and the dinosaur beings came through the gate in the front room, they were saying, don't forget about the treaty, we made a deal. But because of everything that happened, they've all fallen apart now.
Sure.
So yeah, they're all rattling at the cages, and
Yeah.
I can't get them to stand down forever, like I say.
Do you know which races those treaties were made with?
The reptilians, like there's like a pterodactyl being.
Like the
comes
kind of
through.
raptor type?
Yeah, like a
thing.
raptor with a big head, with a big grin on its face. Yeah, but
Lots
yeah,
of
they've
teeth.
all fallen apart. But they never stick to them anyway.
Right.
They only last like 6 months, and then
And so do you know what the Tau treaty is? Do you know anything about the Tau 9 treaty? Do you know anything?
I'm not too familiar with it.
Or the Griada?
Yeah, I think that was the one on one of the naval ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had the treaties on the naval ships out
Yeah.
to sea,
I
the
think
meetings.
It was
yeah.
the USS Houston, I think.
Yeah.
And is who funded the Calliope?
The Calliope is an old ship. It's like 1,000 years old.
Oh,
Or
right.
older, actually.
So is it bioengineered as well? Then?
Barack Obama had a Air Force Space Command, US Air Force Space Command logo put on the side of the ship in the last 10 years, but it wasn't ever American government. It was like they were sponsoring it.
Right.
It could just wear their symbol.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. And it had that symbol on it until it was destroyed. Yeah.
And is this stuff, is the UN involved in coordinating any of this space fleet stuff, the UN?
Yeah, the UN were involved in it. But yeah, it's been very active over the last 10 years, that particular craft. Because it's a long-range orbital platform, it travels off-planet.
And would have, the Minerva, you know, Mark Richards' ship, would that have been a similar type of ship?
To be honest, I'm not sure about the whole Mark Richards
You don't
thing.
know? Okay.
Because of everything that's happened. You know, there's been so much deception in it all.
Sure. Yeah, Julian's trying to get to the bottom of it and research it, and that's why he's asked me to ask you, because
Yeah.
you'd probably know
Yeah.
some stuff.
I'd say there's more truth in his old man, the Dutch man.
Yeah. Well, that's that prison where he's in, Vacaville prison. They did MK Ultra stuff there.
Right.
A lot of MK Ultra stuff. So maybe half of it's been implanted as memories into him. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, him and his wife only turned up onto the movement when I went public. They turned up at exactly the same time. Nobody had heard of them before that. And then Joanne was involved in all this. She lived right next to us. And she's on the dreaded list.
Oh yeah, Marin County.
And Mark's definitely used some of my testimony from what's been given to him for classified information from the government and put it out as his own.
Yeah, well, I know I think Julian told me something he told him, that it'd come from you,
Well, what was interesting is when the Calliope went down over Syria, all of a sudden information came out onto the internet that Mark's ship Minerva had gone down and been destroyed.
Oh, really?
Exactly the same time.
Well, Julian's seen a lot of parallels between you and Mark, so there's something going on.
So they were reporting the Calliope, and they were reporting my story as his ship.
Right, so that needs
Because it
to
came out
happen.
at exactly the same time, yeah. And former White Hat posted it on his blog, R.I.P. Minerva. And I didn't even tell anyone that the Calliope had gone down. I didn't tell anybody.
So it could even have been the same ship.
Yeah, I think they were saying it was Mark's ship, the Minerva, when there might not be any such thing. They're just reporting on the Calliope.
Yeah. I'll have to look into that a bit more then.
But I'll take you round to where the little dock port is.